Hi there, and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we'll be learning about fractions, okay? And under fractions, we'll be learning to add and subtract fractions. So addition and subtraction of fractions. Now, quite easy, very easy to add and subtract fractions, but we'll get into all of it shortly, okay? As the lesson progresses, anything you don't understand, be sure to contact your tutor, who would be more than happy to help. And yes, let's jump right into the lesson. So fractions, addition and subtraction of fractions. Now, here's an example. Add 2 over 5 to 1 over 5, okay? Very simple, 2 over 5 to 1 over 5. I'm looking to add fractions like this, basically 2 over 5 plus 1 over 5. What we do is we add the numerators, okay? But we keep the denominators the same, okay? So the denominator stays the same, we just work the numerator. So what we do is we do 2 plus 1 gives us 3 equals 3 over 5, okay? Like I said, denominator stays the same, so the number on the bottom stays the same. We just work the numbers on the top. All right, similarly, you're looking to subtract fractions. All right, so you have subtract 2 over 7 from 5 over 7, and you have 5 over 7 minus 2 over 7, okay? And then basically, just like we did when we're adding, we just keep the denominator the same, work the numerators, okay, and work the numbers at the top. So we have 5 minus 2, it gives us 3. So what you have is 3 over 7, and that's it. That's how you add and subtract fractions, okay? But now, something interesting you notice is we have 2 over 5 and 1 over 5. We had situations where we had the same denominator, okay? But then we often have other situations like this one, where we have different denominators, okay? So we have 1 over 2 and 1 over 3. Now, to be able to work fractions like I just explained, where you just work the numerators and keep the denominators the same, you must have equal denominators, okay? So the number on the bottom must be the same. Now, for a situation like this, where we have 1 over 2 and 1 over 3, where we have the denominators, we have different denominators, in this case 2 and 3, what do we do about this? Now, if you recall from the last lesson, okay, when we talked about equivalent fractions, you remember we can actually scale fractions up and create a common denominator for them. Do you recall that? Okay, so what we're going to do here is going to scale these fractions up, and we're going to create a common denominator. So I'm going to multiply 1 over 2 by 3, okay? I'll multiply its numerator and denominator by 3, and I'll do the same for 1 over 3 with 2. So I'll multiply 1 over 3 times the numerator and denominator. I'm going to multiply by 2, okay? And when I do that, I end up with 3 over 6 and 2 over 6. So 1 over 2 becomes 3 over 6. 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 3 is 6. And similarly, 1 over 3 becomes 2 over 6. 1 times 2 is 2, and 3 times 2 is 6. And now, if you notice, we now have the same denominator. And now we can actually just quite simply say 3 plus 2, just the same way we worked the examples on the top there. So we have 3 plus 2 gives us 5, and then we have 6 right there on the bottom, okay? So and that's pretty much how you add when you have instances where you have different denominators. You pretty much just scale them, find the equivalent fractions that will give you a common denominator, and then you just work them like I showed you already. Now, another way to do this, okay, just like we did in the lesson for equivalent fractions, is to find the LCM, okay? So we just go ahead and we say find the LCM of the denominators there to find the common denominator, and 2 and 3 we have 6, okay? And then we say 6 divided by 2 is 3, 3 times 1 is 3, so write 3 here, okay? And then we just bring this plus here, and then similarly we say 6 divided by 3 is 2, 2 times 1 is 2, and what we have in the end is we have 5 over 6. Simple, okay? And this is the easier, as opposed to multiplying like we did. This is the easier method to follow, okay? Let's do another example. So we have 4 over 5 minus 3 over 4, okay? And we're just going to find the common denominator for 5 and 4. I tell you that common denominator is 20. The LCM of 5 and 4 is 20, and then we divide 5 by 20 gives us 4. multiplied by 4 gives us 16. Okay, so basically we have 4 over 5 there. We divide 20 by the denominator 5, it gives us 4. And then we'll multiply our result by the numerator 4 at the top, it gives us 16. Now similarly, 20 divided by 4 gives you 5. 5 times your numerator 3 gives you 15. So 20 divided by the denominator, your result times the numerator. So 16, and then we have 16 minus 15, and we just work that to give us 1. 16 minus 15 is 1 over 20. Simple. Now let's do a few examples. Okay, so example 1. And example 1 says evaluate 3 over 4 plus 1 over 5. Okay, very simple. 3 over 4 plus 1 over 5. And all we need to do here is we need to find a common denominator. So we have 4 and 5. And basically that common denominator is 20. And we say 20 divided by 4 gives you 5 times 3 gives you 15. Okay, we bring down plus. And we say 20 divided by 5 gives you 4 plus 1 gives you 4 times 1 gives you 4, and basically you have 15 plus 4 gives you 19 over 20. Very simple. Okay, so adding and subtracting fractions is very easy. All you need to do is find the common denominator. Okay, just like we did in our equivalent fractions lesson. Okay, so find the common denominator and then just bring down whatever sign you have there. In this case we had plus, so we just bring down plus and we say 15 plus 4 gives you 19 over 20. So 3 over 4 plus 1 over 5 equals 19 over 20. Now let's do another example. Example 2. Now an example 2 says evaluate 5 over 7 minus 5 over 8. So we're looking to subtract 5 over 8 from 5 over 7. And basically what we need to do here is find a common denominator. Okay, common denominator, and our common denominator is simply the LCM of 7 and 8, and I'll tell you that's 56. Okay, and then you say 56 divided by 7 gives you 8, multiplied by 5 would give you 40. We bring down our minus sign, and then we have 56 divided by 8 would give you 7, multiplied by 5 would give you 35. Okay, and then what we have in the end is we have 5 over 56. Quite simple. Okay, so now example 3. And example 3 says now interesting, we have a situation where we have mixed numbers. Okay, so we have 2 1 over 2 plus 1 2 over 5, and 2 1 over 2 plus 1 2 over 5. And basically we have, what we do is we work the whole numbers first. Okay, when you work in mixed numbers you work the whole numbers first. So I say 2 plus 1 and it gives us 3, it gives us 3, and then quite simply we just go ahead and work the fractions. And 1 over 2 plus 2 over 5, common denominator there is 10. So 10 divided by 2 multiplied by 1 gives you 5, plus for 2 over 5 you have 10 divided by 5 multiplied by 2 and gives you 4. And basically 5 plus 4 will give you 9. So a fraction there will be 9 over 10, and basically we'll bring in our whole number, and what our answer, our final answer, would be 3 whole number 9 over 10. Very simple. Now this is one way of solving fractions, of adding or subtracting mixed numbers. Another way we can work this is we can convert the mixed numbers to improper fractions. Okay, and when we do that, 2 1 over 2 becomes 5 over 2, and then 1 2 over 5 becomes 7 over 5, and we just go ahead and add them like we would every other fraction. And basically what we have is we have 10 divided by 2 gives you 5, 5 times 5 gives you 25, plus 10 divided by 5 gives you 2, 2 times 7 gives you 14. And what you have in the end is you have 39 over 10, 25 plus 14 is 39, and finally 39 divided by 10, it gives you 3 whole number 9 over 10. Very simple, very straightforward. Let's move on to the next question. Now example 4. And example 4 says evaluate 8 2 over 5 minus 3 1 over 4. Okay, so 8 2 over 5 minus 3 1 over 4, and quite simply we have 8 2 over 5 minus 3 1 over 4. We convert these to improper fractions, okay? And then we find our common denominator. Common denominator is 20. And we have 20 divided by 5 gives you 4. And then 4 times 42 gives you 168. Minus 20 divided by 4 will give you 5 times 13 will give you 65. And what you have in the end, you have 168 minus 65 gives you 103 divided by 20. And what you have in the end is you have 3 over 20. Very simple, very straightforward. Now, example 5. And example 5 says evaluate 5 over 6 plus 2 over 3 minus 1 over 2. Okay, so this looks complicated, but it's quite easy. And what we have is, so we have that, and we're just going to simply convert all of this to mixed improper fractions. So from mixed fractions to improper fractions. And then our common denominator, the LCM of 6, 3, and 2 is 6. Okay, and then we say 6 divided by 6 multiplied by 23 gives you 23, plus 6 divided by 3 is 2 multiplied by 8 is 16. And then 6 divided by 2 is 3 multiplied by 7 is 21. And when you work this, you have 18 over 6, which gives you 18 over 6 is quite simply 3. And that would bring us to the end of this very simple, very interesting lesson. You can now go ahead and attempt questions on the worksheet. Bye for now.